Hello and welcome back to Linus Nunchuck, where today I'll be teaching you how to create a freestyle nunchuck routine regardless of what skill level you are currently at. Freestyle is a style of nunchuck spinning where you're piecing together all the moves that you have to create a visually appealing spinning routine. This is generally done in front of audiences or people who are viewing whatever you are performing. So regardless of what moves you already know or what current spinning capabilities you have, you'll be able to piece together a routine that will work for you. Tip number one is to start slow. What you want to do is build your routine so that it starts with very easy moves and will get more and more difficult. You may think that this is a waste of time, but getting your audience accustomed to the easier moves that you're doing will make your more difficult moves seem a lot more impressive. If you start things off with all the crazy stuff, then you have nowhere to build from there, and the rest of your routine will be a lot less exciting. So you may be thinking, why not just start with some of the impressive stuff and keep that level of spinning going? Well, the issue with that is that it will either get repetitive and boring, or your level of performance will start to drop, which means that it will also get boring. This leads me directly into tip number two, which is the importance of variety in your spinning routine. If you know one really impressive move and just keep performing that, it'll be more boring than if you know 5 easier moves and are able to mix and match those into your spinning routine. A freestyle routine is all about keeping your audience entertained for a larger spread of time and not merely showing them a single move. So it's important that you take as many moves as you can and try to integrate them. Even if those moves may seem too basic for your spinning routine, by mixing it up, it'll make your other moves look a lot more exciting. Tip number 3 is to integrate breaks into your spinning routine. When you first get into freestyle, you might be tempted to perform as many moves as possible, as quickly as possible, and have them all back to back. However, this might not be the most visually appealing form of spinning for your audience. What I would recommend doing is every so often stopping your nunchucks completely and holding on to them so that you can perform a strike or a stance, or just give your audience a moment to wrap their minds around all the moves that you've just been doing. It will also give you a very helpful break to adjust your grips and be able to make sure that you're spinning correctly. Even when watching many professional spinners, you can see that they integrate these stopping points into their routines where they do other things like move around or perform strikes and stances, which will allow the audience to really wrap their minds around what's been going on. Tip number 4 is actually the opposite of tip number 3, which is to keep your nunchucks flowing smoothly throughout the moves that you're performing. While it is important to throw in a break every once in a while, you don't want to be standing there performing one move after the other with simply having breaks in between each individual move. Instead, it's important to learn how to take the moves that you do know and integrate them into whatever routine you're using and allow them to flow from one move to the next. This will help your spinning look a lot more intuitive and a lot more thought out. Tip number 5 is to focus on external things. This includes where your audience is positioned, because this can influence what style of spinning is best for you. For instance, if your audience is seated around you, you might want to perform more horizontal moves, but if they're seated directly in front of you, you might want to try keeping it in a more vertical position. Another important thing to look out for is where you're standing and how you're standing. Stance is an important part of a spinning routine, and it will allow you to captivate your audience in more ways than just with your nunchucks. Other things like punches and kicks will also make a great addition to your spinning routine, allowing you to mix things up and keep your audience's attention. So I hope that you found these freestyle tips useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more tutorials coming in the future, and go check out some other various nunchuck related tutorials that I have on my channel.